Hello, my name is Rose Rivezzi. I lived in Potsdam since 1976 when I came as a student. I have stayed here ever since, raised my family here, my two boys, married to my husband David. I was a teacher at Parishville Hopkinton for 33 years. Now I'm owner of Big Spoon Kitchen with my son. I'd like to just talk a little bit about how I've seen the climate change since I've been here most of my adult life. I'll start with my experiences in my garden. I'm a gardener. I've always liked to do a little bit of gardening. And what I've noticed certainly happening is that the growing season has extended. I've been able to grow things that I have not been able to grow before. A couple years ago, we had our first cantaloupes, and I never would have thought of trying to grow melon up here. Maybe other people did with their covers or things like that, but I didn't do those kinds of things. Eggplants, we never used to be able to get eggplants here very reliably. Even some of the flowers that I'm growing now, if I look at when I go to choose flowers, I look at the zone has extended so I can take a chance. Although I find that it's still taking a chance because it's not consistently always warmer, and so sometimes you do invest in some plants that you think you're ready to go into that zone because of the way the climate's changed, but then find that you have a harder winter than usual and those plants don't survive. So I'm finding there are these transitions that are happening that sometimes you don't quite know what you can do. I find frosts overall have come later. I'm noticing that by the time I get to my garden cleanup, I don't always have a lot of time between garden cleanup time, yard cleanup, and that first snowfall where you can't go back and clean up. It's too late. The snow's fallen and it's not suitable for that. It's just too cold for that. So you don't quite have. I don't feel you have those long lingering transitions between fall and winter. It just seems like fall goes on longer and then winter hits. I'll mention a little bit too, when I was a teacher at Parishville Hopkinton, I did a little ski club with kids, Bill Koch Ski Club. We take the kids skiing. I just remember it was so much more reliable to find skiing snow with them. And I didn't have to think about it. I mean, there was going to be snow in the winter for me to take the kids skiing on any weekend I wanted during the winter. Now, I just know that as my boys got older and we still skied as a family or we went skiing, it wasn't as easy or as reliable to say, oh, we'll just plan this weekend. You didn't know if you would have skiing snow or not. Not so much that maybe you wouldn't have the cold, but you would have you'd have ice. You'd have rain that fell over your snow, so now you have a crust on your snow, so it's not as skiable. We live right by the river, and we would often ski on the river. That's where my boys, I remember their first cross-country ski outing was out on the river on their LL Bean kid skis. And we would ski on the river regularly, winter after winter after winter. But I'd say that isn't something we can do anymore. Now, once in a while we can ski on the river, but more likely we're skating on the river. So I noticed that has changed just in the time I've lived in my own neighborhood. My use of the river, you can actually paddle longer into the season, but not necessarily earlier in the season, because that just depends. But there will be the more variability where it's more going to be ice rather than snow on the river. So I've just noticed some changes in my own neighborhood, my own, how it's impacted my own little life, just not always knowing the certainty of what to expect with a season.